Welcome to the Heart-Led Business Show, where compassion meets commerce and leaders lead with love. Join your host, Tom Jacobs, as he delves into the insightful conversations with visionary business leaders who defy the status quo, putting humanity first and profit second. From heartfelt strategies to inspiring stories, this podcast is your compass in the world of conscious capitalism. So buckle up and let your heart guide your business journey.
Welcome back to the Heart-Led Business Show, where passion meets purpose. And today we're graced with the fitness fanatic himself, John Heringer. With over 20 years crafting champions at Method3 Fitness and a dynamic team of 17 dedicated pros, he's turned sweat into smiles and goals into gains. When he's not empowering nearly 600 clients, you can find him sharing quality time with his amazing wife, Sarah, and his rock star sons, Jackson, Brennan, and Rylan. Join us as we delve into John's heart-led journey and explore the magic of building a business that truly cares. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure to be here, Tom.
I am really excited about this conversation today because, John, we've known each other for probably 15, 16 years. When we both had our own fitness bit. Well, I sold out. You still have yours. Yeah. 20 years, an incredible journey, especially in the personal training fitness world. So super excited to dive into that. But of course, the first question I always like to ask is, what's your definition of a heart-led business?
So I think my definition of a heart-led business would be one that is led, cultivated, has a foundation built upon relationships. When we dove into kind of what makes Method3 really special and unique, when we really drill down, we find that it all starts with relationships, whether that's with our partners, that's what we call our clients, or with our teammates.
I really love that because at the crux of any business, there has to be a relationship. Because at the end of the day, we do business with other people. And
right.
As people, we like relationships most of the time anyway.
Correct. Most of the time. Yep. Exactly.
Tell us about your journey into Method3, like maybe what you've done before Method3 and what got you into personal training and the fitness business.
Yeah, totally. Let's see. I'll try to make this a blitz through time. So I actually wanted to be originally an attorney. International corporate law was going to be the name of the game. Was bent on that since like high school. And then while at Santa Barbara, that's where I did my undergrad, I studied political science and Spanish, kind of continuing on that route. But I got a minor basically in personal training as well. And I just loved those classes, nutrition and anatomy and phys and kines and all these great classes. And it was my kinesiology professor, Romeo, who got me excited about just health and fitness as an actual career. But I stayed on this journey of, nope, I'm going to take the LSATs. I'm going to apply to law school. And then it was really when I graduated, right when I graduated, about to say, cool, I'll go to this law school. And I just had this epiphany of, you know what, I can envision myself being an attorney in 30 years, but I can envision myself being a coach. So that was an interesting conversation with my parents. Dad, who was, let's rethink this a little bit. Mom, who was like, oh, you're young. Just what does your heart tell you to do? Go for it. You can always go be an attorney if it doesn't work out. And so it was kind of like, cool. Okay, Dad, thanks. And then it was, okay, Mom, that's what I wanted to hear. Thanks. But they're both super supportive. And I started literally at front desk at just a local gym. Ended up becoming certified, working my way up within that, more of a health club kind of big box gym. It was a place called the Right Stuff Health Clubs, actually.
The Right Stuff. Huh?
The Right Stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I worked my way up in the health club industry for about 5 years, and just some things transpired and changed for me within the structure that I was like, you know what, I think I'd rather just go try this on my own. And at that time, the company was actually called Fast Action Training. So I started that on the side. Yep. And then was working at
Sorry, but what was the slogan for FAT?
Get fit with fat. That's right. Yep. FAT. Yeah. My clients back then would lovingly say that they were going to their fat class for the day. And I'm like, I don't think that was, in retrospect, really should have thought this through here. The acronym might not serve me well, but I will say it was memorable at the very least, right?
If you'd done the PHAT, that would have been a little bit different.
I should have done that. Yep. Yep. And then I've always been a huge fan of marketing and sales. And actually, that's not true. Let me back up. I wasn't always the biggest fan of marketing and sales. Learned to love sales and then became just a student of it, student of marketing. We crossed paths back in the NPE days and really fell in love with all those things. But we got lucky enough to be featured on Groupon. And so I know there's probably a variety of people watching this, but in the States, huge thing that back in the day before it became a conglomerate of multiple different deals you could get, they had a daily deal. And it was just one email blast that went out. And it was obviously, I think back then it got a crazy valuation because it grew so fast, Groupon.
Yeah.
But we were lucky enough to be featured. We sold a bunch. That gave me the opportunity. The way they paid out back then was a third right when the deal closed, a third 30 days later, and a third 30 days after that. From a budgeting perspective, it actually really helped me. And it was like, if any time were a time and this were a sign, this is it. So I'm going to go for it. So I quit my full-time coaching gig that I was doing at the time because I had just gone back to personal training, went full on into fast action training at the time. We were just subleasing a space. Lucky enough to have a lot of people come in, redeem their Groupon, flip them into ongoing training thereafter. And it was a funny time, Tom, because where I was subleasing from was a tanning and fitness like space. It was called Eclipse Tanning and Fitness. So the funny thing is I'm literally doing consults with people on this couch because I didn't have an office and the fitness space is attached to the tanning salon. I'm doing consults on this couch as people are coming in and getting their tan on. And it was just a funny thing to have this, look, tell me about your goals. And someone's like, yeah, I'll get 15 in the stand-up. Then it's like just comical that it was, I'm like trying to be serious in this environment, but I love reminiscing about those times and just, it helps maintain a sense of humility of the grassroots of how we started and never taking anything for granted. So fast forward, we were there for about a year. We continued to grow. We then located a space and we've now been in business about 15 years. We just celebrated our 15-year anniversary. We had a huge turnout. It was absolutely awesome to celebrate and just reminded me, that's what about my definition is heart-led business is built on relationships. And ultimately that's what I got to see just in action, our team connecting with our partners. That's what we call our members partners and we call our memberships partnerships because we think it's a two-way street to get them where they want to go.
Love that.
Yeah. So it's just a beautiful time. We did it at this cool bocce place. We had a bunch of food catered in and just had some fun, unique gifts we gave various people. And I got to celebrate a few 15-year partners. So we literally have now, I think, we've celebrated 5 15-year partners. So people that have literally been with me since almost the very, very beginning. Wow. Which is just incredible. And it's so fun to share that. I'll have to send you afterwards. Something we do is we started a few years back, which is an annual like Method3 magazine. And it's like a year in review. And our marketing coordinator, Shannon, does an absolutely incredible job just showcasing what we did for the year as a group, partners, different stories that we have, team things. It's just an incredible magazine. I think people now really look forward to it. It's fun to celebrate because some of these partners have been with us like a year and they're like, wait, you just celebrated 15? And so it's awesome because we've obviously done a great job cultivating these relationships and helping people want to be a part of something and a community and all these different factors. But I think it also then shows people that are coming in, wow, this is like a place I could just call home. An amazing journey. Yeah, to say the least.
That is amazing. Yeah. And I'm totally with you. The reminiscing and the Groupon day. I remember when we were listed on Groupon as well in my fitness center, the phone would not stop ringing.
Crazy.
And I was like, hands on deck. Crazy. It was so good.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't.
Correct. Yeah. As many marketing things can be sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Like, how did you get away from the law and thinking about being a lawyer and an attorney and then shifting to fitness? Because it's so very different. Is it you're leading with your heart? Like I always envisioned you're helping people change their lives in a very positive way with fitness. International law, that's cool and stuff. But is it really working with a lot of people?
Makes for a fun topic whenever I get to meet people at a different, like a dinner party or something. And it's like, what do you do? I do fitness. And we'll dive into a little bit of the backstory of it. And they're like, but it's a great icebreaker on some things. I think growing up, my dad was a doc, actually was an ER doc, and then he opened up an urgent care and family care practice. So the entrepreneurial spirit runs in the family. Mom was a nurse. And so an attorney just fit into the like safe career, professional career. And truly, I've always had a more analytical mind than a creative one. And I love languages. I love Spanish. I still speak Spanish to this day.
Muy bueno.
Yeah, sí, muy bueno, sí. And I think it just fit at the time. And then when I was in college, I had started literally, I think in high school, getting into working out, really got into health and wellness for myself, saw the changes it made in me, saw the performance changes that occurred when I did swimming and water polo. Wow. And the ability to like train to do these things and have them improve my sport performance. So that just got me really excited about all of it. And so then when I got to go further that education in college, at that time, really just for fun, it made me realize how passionate I really was about it. And then all I had in my head was that I wanted to own my own gym. That was it. And so in the health club industry, that kind of presented a possibility. At the time when I resigned, actually, I was operating one and overseeing two others. So I'd say really at that time I was more of a regional person, regional manager of sorts, without really any like ownership or interest or equity. And to be honest, I knew I really wanted to do things differently and have it be less of a big gym that people come into and more of one that was built upon these relationships that if you didn't come into the studio, we were going to know and you would hear from us versus, hey, if we don't hear from them, that's okay because they're still paying their dues. So I think it was when I tell people the story, it sounds very odd, but along the way, I just built this growing love for all things health and wellness. And I think even now we've had Method3 for 15 years. My wife and I had bought into an awesome franchise, had 2 locations there, just recently sold those. But honestly, the thing that's always remained the same is this love for health and wellness, whether it's now biohacking on myself and diving deep and then sharing these things with my coaches. And, we just went to IDEA, the big health and wellness conference. They had their IDEA World Conference just up here in Sacramento, California. So I live just outside of Sacramento. My studio is actually in the Bay Area in San Jose. It's about 2.5, 3 hours away. So I don't go down there that much at all. I go down there about once a month or so and just connect with the team remotely. So, but I got to bring the whole team up and it was just such a great experience. Got them in a hotel, had big team dinner. Everyone's doing different educational sessions. And then we come back to the studio. Now they're doing teach backs for each other. So we're all just improving this awesome sense of learning and I love it. And we've just provided a place for coaches to really thrive. And whether that's from education or just being able to be awesome at their craft. And it's a really special place. I'm biased, but it's special.
It's a testament to be in business for 15 years. Like most businesses don't make it the first year, let alone 5 or even 10. So kudos to you for sticking with it. Because I'm sure, first of all, like taking care of your employees is so important because they're the ones that are taking care of the clients.
Correct.
And if you don't and so it's brilliant the way that you've structured that to keep what do you call the employees?
I just call them teammates. We're all teammates. Yeah, but we call our members partners. Yeah,
partners. Yeah. So the teammates are taking care of the partners, and the partners are ultimately taking care of the whole business because they keep coming back for more. And to have somebody that 5 people that have been there for 15 years, that's amazing.
We had just a partner that I connect. We have our own little show called the Stronger for Today show that we interview different people, and a lot of them are partners to share some of their stories. Specifically for the older adult, as we're trying to share and show how it's never too late to start on some of these journeys and what it can do for not just improving your lifespan, but your health span, right? The enjoyment of those years. And I got to connect with one of our female partners. Her name is Anne. She just finished an incredible hike, the Himalayas, and went up to, I don't even know, 15,000 feet or something, 14,000 feet. And one of the things she shared, though, is she's gotten so much out of her partnership with us and her coach, Justin, and all these things. But what really struck her that she shared with me, which I thought was, it was great because it's literally our goal. And then I tell people when they join with us and I tell our team is like, we want through our actions, we want our partners to understand that they are more important. Their goals are more important. Their success is more important. than the money that they're investing in us. And it was so awesome because this girl's been with us for about a year. And she literally said that verbatim to me. I just feel like every person I connect with, coach, like I can just sense you guys care more about us than you do about the financial thing that's happening. Because obviously there's got to be a transaction there and you got to be a business, but I don't even realize that or feel that. I just feel that like all you care about is us. And I was like, mission accomplished. This is great. It was so cool to hear. And from a newer person that's been with us just over a year at that. But I think that focus on our team and our partners and really just being slightly insane about how we can serve better all the time is what has been a huge piece of our success. One of the cool things that it did was I was trying to track our average length of engagement, and it was hovering around, still very strong, but hovering around anywhere from 39 to 41 months.
Oh my gosh.
And so, yes, great in and of itself.
Crazy.
Yes.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's now actually though about 46. So the crazy thing was thinking, wow, we are literally almost, our average length of a client staying with us when they sign up is almost 4 years. So It was just really cool to go back and see that. And I think part of that is actually a little bit of a segue into personal training. We've now, years ago, we used to be more top heavy group to personal training. And I'd say now it's definitely more evened out or slightly more personal training than group. And so I think it's been an interesting, but we've done a good job at still having those one-on-one personal training clients, not just develop a relationship with their coach, but with the community at large. And so I think that's been a big piece of helping people want to stay a part of what we offer besides just the coaching sessions that they're getting. It's more than that.
Yeah, and that's what I found too, is when you connect people in a kind of a shared goal like fitness or the pain of going through a workout with a personal trainer that's a little bit too rah-rah, but then we're sharing in that experience together, it automatically creates a community. But then it's also our job as the business owner to set the tone for that to actually happen.
Correct.
So tell me, how do you think that you set that tone from the very beginning to make sure that fast action training turning into Method 3 was congruent all the way through?
I'm going to first say that I made a lot of mistakes. And so by learning from those mistakes and through people that you realize aren't the best fit as coaches, because ultimately I think that was one of the hardest lessons was how am I going to duplicate myself? Because I can't have this run just on me. And I think the first thing is understanding that no one will be 100% John. And not only is that okay, that's actually probably better, because who would want a bunch of the same personalities, completely congruent the whole time? No one, right? That'd be annoying after a while. So I think that was actually the thing I came to realize is that as I got more people on, each had their own unique strengths. I call them flair. Everyone's got their own flair. And I say, look, we're all working. And we literally just talked about this because we had a program design template and everything that we had created together, collaborated on to kind of serve the older adult who we really coach primarily now, like 40, 45, 50 plus. And we gotten away from it. And so we had to circle back and say, okay, let's recalibrate this template that we use to say, what are the important pieces that need to take place in terms of someone's program, like mobility, strength, all these pieces. And then the exercises therein, here's our exercise library. You can have a few different ones, but let's make sure we're speaking the same language. What you create within that, like the ingredients and the recipe that you create for that client, you and I could create ones that are totally different. But as long as we're going from the same template, from the same exercises, from the same thinking of how to serve this person to keep them safe but effective, then we're good. And so I think that was a realization slowly started to occur, is I can have all these different people, but as long as we're working within the same framework under the umbrella of Method 3 and serving people from a company standpoint, not like a John versus Tom versus Bobby versus Sue. It's not individuals, we're a collective. And so I really try to make sure that I'm harnessing that. We have weekly team meetings. I'd say it starts from our interview process to make sure that it's a lengthy interview process. But we also have something very unique, I'll say, Tom, is that instead of like hourly or commissions or all these things, we literally have a salary. Like it's, hey, this is what you're going to get paid. We expect you to eventually work up to this many service hours, 25, 30 service hours. You'll get paid for 40. You can do all your program design. You can make sure you're cleaning and taking care of equipment, and putting things away. If you have extra time, here's a list of, we call them downtime duties, to make sure that you are helping move the needle in some respective way, so that you're not just getting paid for being on the clock for doing nothing just because you have a client canceled. And so that has given our team the ability to like just focus on what they do best. They're not worried about these tumultuous ups and downs in income. What if so-and-so goes on vacation? Because their income stays the same. We just may expect them to do some different things while those hours open back up. We offer access to benefits. We have a 401k. We have paid time off. So there's just a lot of things we do a little bit different that gives stability to coaches in an environment and industry where typically that's not the norm. And so I think all those things together have created an atmosphere where they feel safe, they feel appreciated, and they get to just focus on what they do best with their own respective flair under the umbrella of Method3. And so it's allowed them to really thrive and create this amazing, collectively, we create this great community together. And I tell my team all the time, I said, look, I'm blessed that we have this amazing team. I feel equally blessed that we've attracted the right people in as partners to be a part of this with us, because together we make up this unique thing that is Method3. I always call where we are like the beacon of positivity. Like people are literally drawn to us at Method3 and want to be a part of it, but we can only we got to make sure it's a good fit, right? As both partners coming in, teammates coming in. And I think that's given us the ability to step out more and just lead from more of a visionary sales, marketing, process driven standpoint, and allow my team to be the main ones that execute.
That's brilliant. And that's what the CEO should be doing too, is setting the tone and direction. So let's shift gears just a little bit and talk about the business side, because we're kind of had the same business for a while. There's challenges probably early on around money, and you still want to be heart-led, but then the bank account is telling you, oh, you need some money. How do you balance the need to make money and profit with still being heart-led? And how do those combine together for you to make such a great business?
Yeah, I know as coaches, we come into this just with this heart of gold. We want to serve everyone, and it's hard to ask for money. And then we all of a sudden, we're guilty of saying, oh, I only want to charge Tom this because he's great and I know him from before. But Bobby, I don't know. So I'm going to charge him full price. And it's all these different, I think getting some business coaching. I've always been a fan of having a coach and to figure out what I need at the time and trying to find a coach that will serve that need. And so thankfully, I've had a majority of great coaches. Some that one or two maybe that I'm like, maybe would have done that different and not signed up for some coaching there, but you still learn through those as well. I think it was coming to the realization that I can't serve people and keep building this amazing community unless I'm charging what we need to charge and paying my team a reasonable, great wage, especially since it's salary and we're taking care of them in a variety of different ways. And the only way to reconcile that is by making sure that we are charging what we should be to maintain profitability. Because if we're out of business, we can't serve anyone. And to be honest, I tell everyone like that would be horrible because a light would be extinguished from the earth. And if we're going to do our damnedest to make a dent in the universe, we can't do it if we're not profitable and not actually like in business. So we definitely did rate increases throughout the years. There were one or two kind of blank moments where I had to kind of say, wow, how did I mess up my numbers here? What did I not do? Did I not appropriately save for taxes or whatever it was? Those are all things we got to learn through. And I think now, and then the pandemic, honestly, going through the pandemic was literally, it was harder than starting the business going through that. I know it was hard for everyone, but in health and fitness, it was extremely challenging. Specifically where my studio is located in Santa Clara County in California, it was just completely shut down. And so we had to pivot. We did online. We built an outdoor training area. We called it the outdoor arena. Literally, we did a lot of outdoor sessions for pretty much almost 2 years because it took people, it was a little bit of a challenge to coax people out, not because of the pandemic in terms of like a virus, I'll say, maybe some more like that, but more so because they were used to training indoors. And now we're asking them to train outdoors. And we're blessed with pretty much some very good weather, I'll say, where we are in San Jose, but literally for 2 years. And we were able to get through the pandemic and we've literally grown every year since then. And this year will be, last year already was, and I think this year will be, again, like the best year we've had in 15 years. I feel grateful every day. And I tell my team, I'll never forget the pandemic because it grounds me in humility and gratitude. also the lessons learned of we will always have a strong, I say strong, very strong cash reserves to float any storm so that there will never be a moment where I'm going, oh no, how are we going to survive? We will make it through anything. It also really made me a lot more, since the pandemic, I think the year after, so 2021, and every year since, we've raised our rates. Every year. Yeah. And that's such a fear. Everything comes down to fear for raising your rates. Yes. And I can tell you right now, with almost 600 clients, we typically will raise it anywhere. We charge our clients, our partners weekly. So we'll raise it anywhere from $3, $4 to $5 per week. So again, part of that is also when we raise it, it sounds like $3 a week. Okay. $12 to $20 a month for a studio, times by that many members, that has an impact, right? That allows us to maintain profitability, great raises to our team, but also take care of all the other things, inflation, all the prices that increase from our vendors, electricity as we grow, like all these things, our rent goes up, like all these things that go up. So you have to raise prices, right? Or else you're out of business. And so literally out of all those times we've raised it, I think on average, we will lose anywhere from 1 to I think the max in all the past years, like the past 4 to 5 years has been 5 people, right? Wow. So 1 to 5 people out of 550 plus clients.
That's amazing. That's 0.01.
So it's just a fear-based thing. And that's allowed us to maintain this, getting back to your original question there, to maintain this, like in order for us to fulfill our purpose and have the impact we want to make, we must maintain profitability. And that means always evaluating where we're at from that standpoint. As we bring on new people, as we grow, as we look at acquiring equipment or getting new space or more space, it always has to come down to where does that impact our bottom line? Can we afford this? Can we float this? Does it make sense right now? Is it a now? Is it a later? Because if it ever puts us into too much of a precarious position, then it's probably not worth it. Like even right now, we're growing, we're going to need more space, whether it's a completely new space or just acquiring more. But we're going to not do that until we're literally bursting from the seams and figuring out, because then it'll be a much easier way to fall into that new space and afford it and not have any SH moments. We're just going to go like, okay, cool. We accounted for this. Now we have more space to float these people that we were kind of like crammed in a little bit on top of each other, but now we're good. We've got the space and we can afford it. So trying to be really intentional about that.
That's great. All that planning that many small business owners don't really think about, it's all from the seat of your pants. And when you put your heart into something, a lot of times you don't always think through all the different consequences. So it's very smart. It's great. So John, tell us, it's kind of come to that time, unfortunately. This has been a great conversation. You've shared so much wisdom of your journey, but how can people learn more about you and Method3 Fitness?
Method3Fitness.com is our website. You're welcome to go there and check out who we are, what we do, and how we serve our people. If you want to hit me with an email, I'm happy to get back if there's anything I can do to assist you on your journey, whoever's watching. Email's pretty simple, JOHN, John, @Method3Fitness.com. It's method, it's the number 3, the digit, and then fitness.com.
Just like your shirt.
That's just like my shirt. That's it. So you can check us out there. Happy to assist on the journey where I can. I think if there's any, no matter what the business is that people are in that are watching this, I think we all have these aspirations as we vision cast. Just one thing I want to say about that is just allowing yourself the grace to let that vision evolve and change, but never letting really go of it, right? Because I'll say that as we've gone through now 15 years in, I'm still super passionate. We've got annual planning we're doing with our leadership team next week. I can't wait to figure out how we're going to continue to climb, get to 1,000 partners that we're going to lead, and then how we now cast what we've built out and train people online, since that's become such a much more easier thing to do for people, even the older adult. So, don't let go of the vision. Know that as you progress and climb and you find the right people on your team, it gives you more and more time to then cast that vision and create it and excite your team and rally the troops behind that so you can really have the impact you want to make.
That's great advice. And we'll make sure to package that up into a nice short that we can publicize. That's absolute gold right there. John, thank you again for being on the show today and sharing your wisdom. We've been friends for a long time, and I always appreciate talking to you. You have such a great attitude, and your spirit is so much in the heart. So thank you for everything.
My pleasure, Tom. Thanks for having me, man. It's been great to rap with you.
Awesome. And thank you, dear listeners, for watching today or listening in today on your podcast player of choice. And we really do appreciate it. So if you want to check out everything that John's doing, we're going to put that all in the show notes. So just check that out down in the show notes. While you're down there, if you could do us a favor and give a show a rating and a review, hopefully 5 stars, that definitely spreads the word about the Heart-Led Business Show and helps those that want to be more heart-led be okay with being heart-led and making a profit. So until next time, lead with your heart.
You've been listening to the Heart-Led Business Show, hosted by Tom Jacobs. Join us next time for another inspiring journey into the heart of business.